Hello, this is Primal JQ, and once again I am doing a not live reaction because, quite frankly, oh my god, quite frankly, I did actually see the pre-conference, but it was really late at night for me, and quite frankly, I spent almost the entire day, about 3/4 of the day, tidying up my room.
Oh my gosh, how cool is
And
that?
all I've really managed to do is, there's a number of things that I want to do with my desk, and I've managed to do it, but it means having to shift a whole load of stuff. So all I've really managed to do is reorganise my mess, which hopefully today I'll actually manage to get rid of. In all honesty, I wasn't that keen on it, just because I'm not that keen on EA in general. But it blew up. There was a reaction to it, and me being one, still kind of curious because it is E3, and two, even with that, liking to, take the benefit of the doubt, because, a lot of the people seem to go into this hard with extremely high expectations, only to be let down. I'm not like that. I usually go in with not that much expectations at all, really. But here I am. I'm watching it again, and I am watching Battlefield V, or is it called Battlefield 5? I'm confused these days because people are doing weird things with renewals nowadays, especially, Activision with their Black Ops 4, which is quite blatantly 4. Can't really argue that is not IV. I wonder if the next Call of Duty Black Ops 5 will just have like a cross over the strokes, like the 4 vertical strokes, just to make sure, sort of to signify even some kind of prison or something. I don't know. Kill count or something. I know it's based out around a certain period in World War II. Of destructive environments, as you expect them to be, because they were in like most of the Battlefield games, including Battlefield 1. There has been other sort of controversies surrounding that. Most notably, you've seen there the women in World War II, and the reaction to me has been baffling. I mean, I remember Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, I think it was. They had a big sort of negative reaction for the fans. That was particular. I'll come back to that in a minute.
Something I know a lot of you have been asking for.
It's Royale.
So, I mean, yeah. So, yeah. I'll keep talking about that before I get to this. So the reaction for that was more because they essentially tied the remaster of Modern Warfare, and they couldn't get it any other way. To me, that was kind of legitimate. This one was because the negative reaction to this game was because there were women running around in World War II with prosthetic arms. What's that about? That's not historically accurate. Why are you doing women are ruining our gaming? Why are you pandering to? And to me, I mean, there were women in World War II, and even that case, it's a game. I mean, they were doing things in Battlefield 1 that didn't, they were prototypes, but they didn't actually use them, and that wasn't a problem. So why is it now? It's a bit OTT. in one sense, and in another sense, it's just a tad toxic. That's just my thoughts. Anyway, so Battlefield V has a Battle Royale mode. Who saw that coming? I think everyone. It's like, yeah, it had to happen eventually. That's what the next thing was. That's what that's the bandwagon that they're going to. And it's like, oh, this is something completely new. And it's like, it's something we all saw. Also, yeah, they're doing the same thing that they did with Anthem. Now they're basically doing it sort of like content which probably isn't exclusive, and putting it in the Xbox conference, which has me wondering now, because they did that last week with a quote unquote live demo of Anthem. They seem to be doing it again now, which just kind of makes me wonder, what what notes, what dollar bills have been sort of passing between those two. What's going on there? This is kind of the stuff that I'm not particularly too keen on, in all complete honesty. Yep, you saw FIFA 19, which was something else that was inevitable. What about that gameplay, guys? What about that gameplay? Right now we're just seeing the cup. Is that the Champions League? I don't know. I'm not a follower of football, and I'm not keen on 40 games. I tried to give them a chance. Back in the days of old, I actually had a ton of football games, and I played them, and they were the ones that were most lauded. The Micro Soccer, remember that? And, Match Day 2, all of that kind of stuff. And I played them, and I just couldn't get into them. And then I tried, what was it, FIFA 19, 3 was it, or 4, I forget, but, when they came out on consoles back then, and the Commodore Amiga. But I think after that point, it was just like, footy games, not for me. I just don't get them. I don't find them enjoyable. This section of the conference just has very little interest to me, and I'm sitting there looking at this stuff and thinking, what is gameplay? I'm not going to complain about the World Cup, because I'm just not going to follow it. Anyway, that's just me. So there it is. A free trial of this thing. You can get it for Xbox One and PS4 and Origin, which of course is their platform, which I think that will be represented in the Windows. But that's it. I have to remember though that I might as well say that the Switch version is running on a different engine, so that there is that, and like I said, I can forgive him for that, even in that regard. And there he is, the CEO of Electronic Arts. I'm trying to resist the urge to say that, but I said it now, so I will edit it, but how I said things I really shouldn't. But I think there are a lot of people who would agree with me in that, and I'll completely honest. So Andrew Wilson is here right now. He's talking about more subscription services, and I think at this point here he's talking about playing on the cloud, which is another practice I'm not too keen on because again it's always online. I don't subscribe to always online gaming, and especially stream, because it's just dependent on a whole ton of factors that, you know, they may have the most powerful servers in the world, but there's still factors outside of that, that's outside of their control. And I know some people will probably say, well, you know, with physical releases, you have the same sort of thing, could end up losing the game forever and stuff like that. But I'm like, yeah, but you have to be really, really terrible with actually looking after your game to be doing that. You know, you'll probably store it in some, you know, abattoir or some sort, you know, in the flipping greenhouse, or you know, you store your games in your radiator or something, or you use you indiscriminately use all of your CDs as a coaster or something. For that to even happen, you know, I have games. I've had games, CDs sort of fail on me, but even then, I've managed to clean them, and they seem to work out fine. I've got games that I bought back in '98 that I'm still playing today because it all works. The always online thing, I also don't like, and of course the subscription service on top of another subscription service that you're paying for already to be able to play online is just something that it's just I'm not on board with it all. Anyways, Vincent Fellow Respawn, and I was really excited when I saw that. Like, oh, is this going to be Titanfall 3? Because, you know, out of all the new franchises that they've had, you know, Titanfall has been at least interesting. Only the way that EA treated Titanfall 2 was a bit kind of irk, and I think that game kind of suffered as a result in terms of like sales and stuff like that. So this new Star Wars game that they're working on, Jedi Fallen Order, sounds pretty interesting, sounds exciting. I kind of wonder if it's the few E3s ago they were sort of talking about expanding the Star Wars universe with more of these original games, and that was including the one by Visceral Entertainment, who are now, you know, predictably shut down by EA. I might as well tell you, spoilers, we'll never know because they don't actually show it. They don't even show a logo or anything. They just mention that they're working on it, and it's gonna be awesome and stuff like that. I mean, this is weird. It's like they showed, like, you know, even like shots from other ones. So I'm just wondering why they're keeping it so hush hush, or maybe it isn't, and people just pecking it in and just say, "Wait a minute, that looks like," and we'll be having controversies all over again. And no, EA doesn't want that. No, of course they don't. We're just going to concentrate more and more Battlefront 2, because Battlefront 2, well, I mean, on stage they did actually admit, we did release Battlefront 2 and a lot of you didn't like it because we fluffed up in so many ways. Yeah, too right you did. And they're talking about doing an overhaul in the progression system, which I'm pretty sure they've done many times before. Another interesting bit they did, they said, well, we're bringing back, you know, some of the stuff that was in the first Battlefront games. And when they say the first Battlefront games, I'm assuming they're meaning the very first Battlefront games, and from when the game was, you know, released by LucasArts. Those Battlefront games. It's kind of good to see that they're kind of acknowledging that and trying to bring stuff back from that, because a lot of people did actually like immerse Star Wars Battlefront. I kind of like that, these games as a service thing, which Battlefront series is pretty much now. There's no denying it. It's good that they sort of leave all of this kind of room for development and adding stuff in it and enhancing the experiences of that, which is great. Oh, this kind of had me excited. It's like, oh yeah, General Grievous, woo! Even with that, with Battlefront 2 being so quite bad at the start, that was part of God was because just the horrible kind of money grabbing practices that EA usually and they were called out on that so many times, and they was like, well, okay, we'll tweak the progression system so that you don't need as many points and you don't have to then just be forced to fork out money if you really want the hero that you want. And they kept tweaking it out, and now they said, oh, we're doing a complete overhaul now, which is like,
So thank you. May the force be with you, and enjoy the rest of E3.
So, yeah, that's what I'll say about that. It's Battlefront 2, which is like, this is not great for so they're doing that, but it's still kind of leaving it a little bit of sweet taste. Yeah. Oh, this I was excited to see. I have to admit, I haven't played the first Unravel. Mostly because I was playing another kind of yarn-inspired game a heck of a lot and really enjoying that instead. But Unravel was a cute little title, and the way that used the yarn mechanic was, a bit more. You might say it was a bit more technically led, but on the other hand, it was nice. It had a nice little endearing character, and there's this guy again who showed real kind of passion. He was kind of nervous and all that. So this Unravel 2, needs to use co-op, which is obviously it's natural progression. I did spoil I think everyone knows what it's called by now anyway. It's kind of obvious that it's a sequel, which, from what I can tell, is kind of a jump in, jump out type of thing. I think it's still pretty much a single player game. You'll see why that is in a minute when they show more of the demo. There's going to be a live demo. So what I kind of like about that is that it's just like the last level. It's heavily physics based gameplay, which when done right, physics based gameplay is actually a lot of fun. They're sort of showing that here, even if that looks floaty as buggery. But I think it's the first game, because it didn't diminish the enjoyment of the game so far. I think I'm saying that, I don't know, because I haven't actually played it yet. So, like I said, it seems like it is actually, oops, I have no idea what happened there. It is kind of like a single player game, because you can tell there, you can sort of merge into each other and become one, and then only in certain sections, like when it's being chased by that, oh my god, I thought it was a quail at first. I don't know why I said that, but I was like, is this a quail? I'm like, I think I need to get ahead of my biology class. I'm pretty sure that's a grouse, so it's being chased by this grouse, so there's a real sense of danger involved in this. Or is there? So basically, it's just like the last level. It's kind of sort of puzzle based. It is more of a puzzle platformer, but they've added a sense of danger in there now, because there are now these crazy birds chasing after you. and trying to grab your yarn. And I find it's sort of cooperative in the sense that there was another game. It does kind of bring me back to a completely turn off with one with. I don't necessarily say something like that was chaotic. That's not what to say, because here this is the real sense of danger of this yarn being actual physical thing. So there's that to be, and yeah, they're being chased by this bird who looks really dangerous and menacing, but there are moments where he just looks utterly goofy. The other honesty, it looks funny. It looks adorable though, which is, you know, it's weird though, because it looks adorable in one sense, and in another sense it's in this real sort of gritty world. And you know, while there's obviously the magic in there and maybe some unintended comedy, you know, there's that sort of grittiness side of it as well in that direction that kind of makes it a bit dull, in all complete honesty. You know, and I'm comparing it to games like Ori and the Blind Forest and stuff like that, which maybe I shouldn't, because it's doing something completely different. But the fantastical side of things, to me, you know, what they do with like 2D is a bit more impressive to me than that. That's just me though, that's my opinion. You know, I like sort of colourful stuff more, and sort of more of the fantastical. So the whole grittiness of this is, of course, technically impressive, but at the same time recreating stuff that already exists. There's this stuff like here with the bear and stuff that kind of you know, brings a bit more levity to it, I suppose. It still looks adorable. The main characters, you know, still look really nice and very well animated. I'm just not sure about the birds. That swan looks nice, but the grass was a bit empty. No, so that was one of the EA original things, which starred Mark Sutherland, is Patrick Sutherland, I forget his name. You know, the guy his son's name Luigi. It's a reference to something else. We'll skip over. So I think that's when it started. I think it did actually start with the first Unraveled when that was released. So that was the whole EA original things. And I think here at this point he's going to talk about another one, A Way Out, which was kind of recent. If I remember, that received mixed reviews.
Anyhow, in March that game caught fire. It's innovative, it's fun, and it's something fresh.
It did actually get a bit of mixed reviews, although, you know, I think a lot of people did actually enjoy it. So again, I think he did mention before that the stories of Doctor Who, you know, when he was on the famous from the Game Awards doing his spiel, you know, the whole kind of thing, and I was sort of wondering, you know, why are they moving into a new studio? He's like, that's just me being. Or he might not be. I think other people are like kind of wondering that as well. But, anyways. So we have another new developer working on a new game that actually does look really interesting. The actual reasoning behind that, you know, isn't just the art style, which looks absolutely freaking gorgeous. That, you know, that's one thing that seems to be consistent with these games now. That they're releasing the EA, that they're giving, that's it, breathe, deep breaths. I honestly thought she had had asthma or something at that when that first came out. This game here looks interesting, Sea of Solitude. You know, I sort of gathered from this that, you know, it seemed like, you know, it had a day and night cycle, and they had the rising and falling tile, which I thought, oh, that's actually an interesting gameplay element. I wonder if that's actually going to be in the full game. But as you can tell, even though the sea seems that serves a great part in it, it actually seems to be a representation of what it's like to be lonely, and how it could affect you in a number of ways. How loneliness is sort of depicted as a beast, an element of danger that affects the environment around you, the people around you, the things around you, just creatures who pursue you in that sense, and also yourself. What loneliness can do to yourself. I find that an interesting concept. You'll see the trailer in a minute how they actually depict it. It's pretty damn cool, actually. But I kind of like games like that. To me, one of the ones that are more actually sort of in the forefront kind of last year was Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which was made by Ninja Theory, and that proved a number of things. Because I think they were working on their own. These guys have the benefit of EA and behind them, but I'm not going to compare it in that sense, because what they have here is obviously a concept that they've taken all the way, to a level that is just, it looks absolutely fantastic. That, the art style and art direction, in a little bit inconsistent, but in another sense, it kind of strings together to make it looks like something, really scary, brooding, but also just really gorgeous. That's Sea of Solitude. Didn't say what platforms it was going to come out on, and I wonder if they'll just show more of that with the other conferences and showcases that will show up. NBA Live. How long were we waiting for that? Why was that kind of scrumped under the thing? It was more about the NBA 2K, and that was doing almost everything right up until a certain point where they started faffing about the microtransactions and all that typical third-party AAA publishing nonsense. There is NBA Live 19. I just thought it was NBA Street at the first time. I thought, oh yeah, everything's back up, but now I just realised they tied it into the main game. Once again, well, look, check out that gameplay, guys. Did you see that gameplay that was there? That was freaking fantastic. I don't know, maybe you can say, well, there's not much you can show. It's just gameplay. You've seen it 1,000 times before, Screw that, let's just show you all these awesome CG sequences instead. Because they'll drive you right, make you excited. That's the whole idea. And now, Madden. I grab a cup of tea. This stuff doesn't interest me. I'm not into sports, especially not into Madden. And what they were showcasing here. This guy who's obviously an esports legend in the Madden world, something. Great. Let's extend the whole thing by showing that. Yay! Well done. Nice jeans, by the way.
I picked up Matt. Same time
It
as
goes
I
well
grabbed
with the jacket.
Okay.
It really
Now,
does.
he to be the number one player in
Anyway, I should be
number
talking
two. You said you
fashion
had
sense.
the decision to
I'm not that into fashion myself, and I don't usually
What did you do?
go with such wild combinations as what the guy on the left is wearing either.
There you go.
Anyway, enough about that. I don't have much to say about
stay right here and talk to you guys forever.
Madden.
I'm not gonna board you guys.
More CGI sequences. Because sort of the gameplay. I think I've just. Yeah, I suppose you saw gameplay in those days, those esports shots there. So there, yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, I think at this point it's just almost everything to be expected. They spent, an inordinate amount of time on sports games, and some more than others. They took an absolute shite on FIFA, of course, but you'd expect that because it's their most successful thing. Although, they just have a monopoly on that. There's not much competition. Pro Evolution Soccer is just a shadow of its former self, and of course it is because Konami. In terms of like the basketball and American hand egg, it's just a Mode 2K games and sort of competing with them now. Okay, and now this.
In the center of the map. Control the missile by standing on a majority of the control points. A bar fills up while the missile is possessed. Whoever controls the missile when the bar fills up will fire the missile. Takes 2 missiles to destroy the enemy's base and win. That's it.
Sounds great, Michael. Well,
That's it. That is
Absolutely.
the new Command and Conquer game by Westwood Studios, coming onto mobile. I thought when I first looked at this, I thought, are they doing a dungeon keeper on us? Is this what is happening right now? Did they just get a beloved franchise by most of its fans and shove it into a mobile game with all the crap that comes with mobile games, simplify the complete total buggery out of it, and it's probably tied to some sort of progress bar or something like that, and we'll have to pay microtransactions for extra units or more Tiberian or something like that. That. No, I'm not going to say, I'm a big Command and Conquer fanboy and this really pisses me off. Here's the thing, I don't play it as much, but I did used to play it a lot with my mate. We played Tiberian Sun. He was better, way better than I was, but I had fun even then actually playing it, and it was a big sprawling map, with the way you can get Tiberians, the resources and all the units and stuff like that, and it's a huge sprawling sort of map for doing it. And now it's reduced to this. You've got the units fighting over and filling up an energy paths, launch missiles to have your opponent's space like that. Oh yes, so much fun. This is exactly what we wanted. Is it? Is it really? I don't. Is this the future of Command and Conquer? Because if I was still if I was still into the game, and if my mate was playing it anymore and doing that, I don't think this would be what he wanted, and it's certainly not what I want. I was almost kind of hoping, and we've got something for the big boys as well, but no, this is it. You can kind of tell that because they're doing this sort of esports commentaries type stuff from the people who are like really into this kind of ITS kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah, we're playing Command and Conquer again on the touch screen on mobile with this tit for tat thing, this tug of war thing where we're launching missiles on other people's one singular base on one small screen. It's just painful to watch. It really, really is. It's just, and why they try to put this esports angle onto it as well. It's like, yeah, esports on mobile, yeah, which isn't actually, you know, it's not like there isn't such a thing. I know there's such a thing, you know, there's stuff like that with, you know, puzzles and dragons and, you know, sort of Hearthstone, although I still don't kind of get that, but, you know, stuff like that. But with this, it doesn't look sincere at all. I don't know how people are expected to be excited by this. Maybe in the mobile gaming world, people are excited about this. Like, oh yeah, we get to play Command and Conquer on mobile now. Yeah. Although I have to have a look, but you know, that it wasn't actually doing stuff like this before. But this, oh, the showcasing and everything, and just the whole mechanic to me doesn't satisfy me as an advancement in the series, like at all. It doesn't convince me at all. They to me, it just looks like they've done a dungeon keeper again.
I just came to make mammoth tanks, so I've done my job. Yeah, absolutely. That was awesome. We saw a little bit of everything right there. Perfect. Yeah. Let's hear it for.
Yeah, I was just here for the free coffee and you know, just to you know, driving my mammoth tanks. That's all I was here for. You didn't say. I noticed you didn't say anything about. I enjoyed that. That was pretty cool. And yeah, it's exactly what I want from a command. No, he wasn't there. He was just like, I just wanted to show off because it's what I do. It's what, you know. It's how I play these games. This work conference was well within my expectations, and this comes along, and my expectations are now they're digging a hole in the ground saying, holy shit, well, I'm sorry, I you know, I have to bury this now. It's dead, it's over, it's gone. Whatever potential excitement that was there before is now dead and buried. But yeah, we had time to make, you know, put all the budget into this awesome CG remake, which is making this game look so exciting. And what you Command & Conquer people, you know, Command & Conquer Redwood fans love, right? That's what you want. That's exciting. He had to follow up after that, didn't he? That made it even better. I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm trying so hard right now. Yay. Once again. Why is it that when you touch those beloved franchises, you just turn it to complete, total, utter poop stank? And you have no compunction in doing it either. So bad. So bad. Two things. One, obviously, this whole thing's kind of tarnished by this Command & Conquer rival thing. I'm having difficulty to say that. It's just so bad. On the other hand, this initiative is great and all. You know, it's great. The whole play to give, yeah, it's fantastic. I do hope it is actually addressing the toxicity within, like, online communities as well. as in the prevention
A
of
world where representation
such stuff.
and
You know,
equality are not
the
something we
support
strive for,
of that, you know,
but
support of that is great.
and where bullying and
That it
exclusion
has to
are
happen.
not an everyday threat.
You know, and
These
if
three
it extends beyond gaming, that's great.
United Nations
But
for She, Pace's National Bullying Prevention Center, and Ditch the Label, an anti-bullying organization.
you know,
All
there's,
great work, and we're proud to
you
support
know,
them
as long as
like
it's
this.
actually tackling, you know, that's actually tackling like the toxicity within online gaming, with all of that stuff.
Thousands of us
You
in
know,
the
with
EA
that inclusion
together
of, you
doing
know, certain things,
immeasurable
whether it
good
be,
because we
you
love
know,
games.
different
Thanks for being with
races,
us, and thanks to the incredible
different
privilege
sexual
of making this possible.
orientations, and,
Now, without
you know,
further ado,
with
let's take
people
a
with
look
disabilities
at
and
Anthem.
stuff like that. You know, as long as that sort of toxic atmosphere that is in there in online gaming. But let's put all that aside now, and now we're looking at Anthem, a game that they showcased last year, again in another conference, but this time it looks like they're showcasing it here and giving us more details about it. I must admit, it looks pretty damn cool. And of course, at this point, I was kind of thinking, yay, gameplay, woohoo! Will we actually get to see any? Please. I'm actually noticing in different classes here. So that's the first time I noticed it. I thought, is this going to be like a hero shoot or something? All like different colour things. But then I realised it is a multiplayer game, and obviously there's going to be different colours. So that's actually kind of a cool thing. And I'm noticing again different classes of these things, which well, you'll see what they're called in a minute. I think they did actually touch on the last show that they're what they're actually called, but they're actually going to expand on that. I kind of like the motif that they were sort of showing here as well. You know, different symbols for the different classes. And you know, if I were to get this game, I already know which one I'm picking.
How cool was that trailer? You guys are
Yay! It was really cool. Woo! Yay!
all of you like me have tons of
If I
questions
recall
about
correctly, she's
Anthem last year
from
because we're all
Kind of
Bioware
Funny,
fans.
which is
So we're gonna do something
it's a
little
channel
different
I
for the
follow
rest of the show, and we're gonna take a deep dive into
sometimes,
Anthem.
not
So I'm gonna
all
bring
the
up some
time.
members of the Bioware team to chat with
In all
us.
complete
Ladies
honesty,
and
but
gentlemen, please
there's
give a warm
reasons
welcome
for
to
that.
Casey Hudson,
I won't go
Mark
into
Garrett,
them.
and Catherine Broussard.
But yeah, Anthem from that point looks pretty cool. And no, I doubt this would wipe the memory of the last Mass Effect game that came out.
Very exciting. So Casey, we're gonna go ahead and just jump right in and get
but
started with you. So now we know
it
the
seems
full
like
premise
they've
of your
learned
career
their
at BioWare
lessons
way
from
back
that,
in
you
the
know,
day. Then you
rather
took a
than
couple
skimping
years
on
off,
budget and
but
coming up
before
with
you came back, you actually
that
worked on Anthem
that
before you left.
wonderful facial
Yeah,
animation
that's right.
technology, which
you know,
was
first of all, it's
absolutely
amazing to be back.
fantastic,
It's
and the
awesome. We're
characters
making
looked so real and
games
so
for
serious
BioWare
and stuff.
fans. It's
You know,
best fans.
enough about that. But
So it's been super satisfying to come back to it, and you know, I just want to be
you know,
able to
the
continue
seems that the
legacy
tech
of the
they've
studio.
used
And
in
that's kind of where it started with Anthem.
Anthem
Just
has
thinking about,
improved
you know, what is the evolution of
a
a BioWare game?
fair deal.
If you really
You know, when you're
capture
showing
that
stuff like that, it's all a case
Your
of
fans
trying to
really
make that
love
stuff look
stories from BioWare, but I
actually
think we're kind of curious
interesting
how you're planning to
and
make
actually
stories work in
engaging.
this shared
You know,
world.
and you,
So
the
a great
person who's
story for
watching
BioWare
that
is really about
within
characters
that
that you
kind
have
of
a connection with,
stuff.
choices you get to make,
Um,
and feeling like
but to be
the
fair, they
things
didn't
in a lot
override
of
all
multiplayer
that
games,
part,
those
although I'm
things
pretty sure there were
get
people that
diluted
couldn't
because you're
review
mixing
that. So
multiplayer and storytelling
there it
in the
is.
same areas.
I don't know how many
And that's
people are
what
going to
we're
be
trying to
sort
do
of like
with
scanning over that for downgrades, but
So when you're out in the open world,
I don't see the point of doing stuff like that really, because it's like, of course, the things are going to look different when the game comes out
the thing that's really
eventually.
interesting
Why
about this,
would you
it's
expect?
unique for Anthem is that
Otherwise,
this
you know,
is a living
games go
shared
through
world. So whether
different
there's
phases
weather
in development.
or, it's
Things are
nighttime,
put in, things
what
are
we're
left out, things are
experiencing
optimized for
together,
the game could run better. to me, you know, that kind of stuff
I
is
turn
just
my,
a bit
my
too
rewards, I talk to some characters,
petty,
I
and
experience the choices of
usually
my action. And this
are
is where
done by
your story
people who
really
just
lives
don't
and breathes.
understand,
And by doing it this way,
you know,
we're able to combine that impact
any sort
and
of
agency of a
creative
single-player
process,
story with the
really.
fun of teaming up with your friends to play co-op in combat.
And we're also designed
I actually thought that
we can
that
add
spelt
stories for
something
years to
out.
come.
No, that
So one of the
almost
first
looked
things
like it
that
was
we
actually
hear
spelled something
when,
out.
from our
I don't know if
community
that's
is
actually
they wanna
something
continue to play
in
in our worlds. When they
gaming
finish
as well.
Mass Effect
But
or Dragon Age, players
as it
want more
turns
story.
out, after
So
seeing
we've
this
designed Anthem in a
admittedly
way
gorgeous
that we
concept
can
art,
actually add more story for
you know,
years to come, and it could be anything.
really
New
well done. I
moment
know a lot
with
of people are
a
like saying,
character
"Oh,
that you've
this
grown
isn't
to love,
gameplay."
or,
You're
an
right.
event in the
It's
world
not.
that, deepens the lore, or an
And
entirely new
that kind
storyline
of
and
made
plot.
me think, "Oh God,
Well, I'm
well."
so not gonna complain about
It's just been, you know, the only bit of gameplay we saw apart from, you know, one of the EA originals was that flipping Volvo game, and that wasn't particularly inspiring in any sense of the word either. So, I don't want to be talking about that anymore, for Pete's sake. So, they're talking about the sort of the plot behind this, of course. Which
Yeah, violent
it's giving me, actually, it's giving me a bit of a Xenoblade vibe. I kind of like
armor, a javelin to
that, in that it's kind of a mix between Xenoblade and, in the sense, sort of Halo with a bit of Destiny thrown in, and of course there's a lot of comparisons to Destiny in here, which I suppose is kind of understandable since a lot of people are wearing
Something we've done a few times
suits
with
and
Bioware,
stuff like that. But
the hardest part is
again,
getting started, kind of getting off the blank page. So what we tried to do
is that something that can be completely turned, like you tried to Destiny just on its own? I mean, there's dropping Warframe for Pete's sakes, you know. There's, you know, Halo itself. I'm almost tempted to even sort of touch Xenoblade Chronicles X, although that was the sort of the mech stuff in there is sort of halfway through the game that you have to progress to that point to have that happen. This is something completely different from that. Like I said, it still gives me that vibe, which kind of gives me a little bit of hope, because I kind of like sort of living worlds like this, and your ability to actually go around them. Well, I have to admit, you know, I still haven't got a Switch, so I can't compare this to stuff like Xenoblade 2 or anything like that. Again, this is two completely different things. Xenoblade 2 is clearly like the sort of that anime sci-fi fantasy thing. Well, this is, you know, balls to the wall sci-fi. Yeah, I know. In terms of that, obviously the comparisons to Destiny are pretty much apt. And yeah, you do get to fly around in Destiny, but in suits like this, I don't know.
Now, I've heard you call this power armor a couple different things. Is it a suit? Is it a javelin? Like, what's the canon term here? We call them javelins, and there are four.
Yeah, so that's it.
And,
They're called
they each
javelins.
have, unique abilities. There's
So you get 4
and then there's the
different ones. So essentially, they're just 4 different
and finally
classes.
the storm.
Yeah, so each
I'm just going to say this right now. Everyone's picking Storm. Everyone's picking Storm. Storm looks awesome. The Storm Javelin looks great. The Interceptor Javelin looks absolutely fantastic as well. And the Colossus, as you can tell, is a bit of a heavy. Also looks, you know, pretty neat. Although that doesn't seem to interest me as much as the other 2, really. Of course, you know, I kind of, you know, Ranger's going to be kind of the default, so I suppose you're going to see more of that, you know, and obviously people who like the heavy Michael bay explosion shit is going to be all over the Colossus. But Interceptor just looks like an awesome design, and Storm just looks powerful as fuck. I can imagine Storm is kind of like equivalent to sort of a mage class. So I'd imagine there will be concessions
Yeah, so we really want
in the ability of that, like probably stripping that. That second one, I don't know if anyone saw that second skin and didn't think Zelda. But then I'm like, sorry, things like that. Three triangles, trifles. I wonder. I wonder if it's just a big, great, big, massive amounts of inspiration. It's just people really love Zelda, and I've kind of forced that into the game. I don't know. That's just me. It's just probably just me as a big Zelda fan seeing these things. I'm sure no one else is, unless they're big Zelda fans, which I imagine quite a few of the game community are, or fail to notice a lot of that stuff. But yeah, that's what I got to say about Anthem. It looks really cool. Hashtag Storm Javelin. That's all I'm saying. And at least we're actually getting to see a bit of gameplay here, which is makes a bit of change. So this is another interesting thing about that, is that it is a multiplayer game. It's co-op only. It's strictly co-op. Almost seems like isn't going to be any PvP in that. Well, I don't know that. There might be no steps in that later on, but it's it's a single player story driven sort of structure. Probably very much like Mass Effect and of course Destiny. But there's obviously a multiplayer online component, and they sort of jump into that at any time, but it seems to be driven through the gameplay. So, it seems to be that kind of a sort of linear experience, but you still get to travel through these worlds, and I'm pretty sure you just fly anywhere. You fly anywhere that you want, but you're still pretty much story progression, which is fine. It's fine with me. Not everything has to be open world, if they're sort of concentrating on stuff like that, especially with the co-op aspect, that can only be good. It's just a question of whether it is actually a good game. Just like the last showcase I did in the live demo gave me very much a Star Wars vibe, which is kind of cool. Holy shit, this game is inspired by so many things, but again, people looking for complete, total, utter originality in things, got to realise that all things that even are original are all inspired by something.
Owen, what's the plan here? Picking up loads of scars nearby. Take a look around the area, but be careful.
And so now on the quote-unquote live gameplay demo, where no one talks over each other and no one's spouting racial slurs or talking about what takeaway they had last night or what takeaway they're having now, or just talking about just bullshit in general and shitting on other people and whatever. It's showing sort of like the ideal sort of environment, which there's no harm in that. Why not? Why not show people? I mean, it's not like they're trying to tell you, this is how you should be acting when you're playing multiplayer games. It's not like that at all. It's just a demo. Yeah, did demo? They're going to be doing it off of script. Oh, okay. You know, they're still showing the sort of like the sort of instant end of the engine, and admittedly there's cuts and stuff which you know kind of expect it to be because it's showing all the different classes now. It's showing all the different things that the Javelin can do,
Return them
and
to the wreck. You've got
nothing
to
wrong with that.
fast.
Hashtag Storm Javelin. Yeah, if I was to get that game, you know, that would be the one I'd pick. And the Interceptor. I'm pretty sure that most people will be
Disaster averted.
picking the Colossus because it's heavy armor and stuff like that.
What the hell was that?
I think that was whatever laid all the eggs around here. The sound came from below your position.
It's across the world. That's why there's British people in it.
On the
Yay.
plus side, this definitely counts toward hazard pay. There's a trail of this acid gunk leading down. Follow it. We should find the source.
Although I must admit, all these cuts are kind of making it hard to see whether this is kind of cutscenes or not, because there are going to be a whole load of cutscenes, sort of like breaking up the gameplay. I'm not sure about that. My gosh, look at all those weak points. That's what I'm seeing with that thing. Look at all those potential weak points, and that's it. That is Anthem. Looks pretty cool. Then it looks like we're getting a date. We're getting a date.
When do we get to play?
So Anthem comes out February 22nd, 2019.
So we now have a very specific date.
Thank you so much again to Casey and the entire
We didn't get a
Fireworks
date
team. I know you guys
beforehand,
have
so
all
that's
your
obviously
outside
where
time.
everyone's going to be
Give it a
concentrating
big
on
Captain, everybody.
barring delays and stuff.
Has so much
That
available
is
right now. Now, for those
pretty
of you
much,
who explore,
well,
you can get
we're
your
going to
free
see
trial
that
of
as we
Space
sort of
Needs
draw into a
today.
close
And Andrew told us
on
about the free
the
trial of Origin
EA
Access.
conference in
Yarny is
E3
back, so what
2018.
is Unravel? Well,
I just got to say, there were interesting things in it. There was a lot
you're
of
like,
stuff
I just wanna go outside
that
to the fan fest.
I
get it.
really
So,
wasn't
I'd love
interested
you guys to know
in,
how the
and
stream's going, because
that
let's
seemed
focus. The
to
FIFA
be the
18
bit where they
Cup
kind of
live
dragged
is going to
on
begin. I'm gonna head outside and check
over
out the game,
that.
but I wanna thank everybody for coming down to EA
You know,
Play today and
all
watching
the
press conference,
sports
and have a
stuff.
great weekend.
But yeah, the original stuff was interesting. Also, kind of interesting that the guy who did the way out wasn't invited back on stage. To say that they were working in new studios and working on new games. Apart from that, the original stuff was the bit that was interesting. Anthem was actually okay as well. I think a lot of people were kind of down and saying, "Oh, it looks generic and boring and stuff like that." And I'm like, people throw the word generic around like candy, really, and don't seem to really know what it means. Maybe the word derivative is more of a descriptive and valid term for that, but even then, I think it all looks pretty neat. And that, once again, hashtag Storm Javelin. And even with all that, the E3 the EA conference is just, it was just, I wasn't going in with any kind of expectations, and it met all my expectations up until they revealed Command and Conquer Rivals on mobile. That sours the whole thing for me. It really, really does. EA has once again took a franchise much beloved by fans of it. There may not been that many fans. Obviously, it sort of shrunk after a while. But there were still devout fans in it. They've taken a favourite franchise of theirs and mired it into the shit that is mobile gaming. and in a predictably terrible way. And people are like, why do you hate EA so much? Because they pull shit like this. That's why. And they don't seem to be letting up at all. And this conference, in a lot of places kind of shows that they're not letting up with that crap. So yeah, that soured the whole thing for me. The fact that they were going on with sports didn't particularly help. The fact that they're doing the battle royale with Battlefield, who didn't see that coming? Of course they were going to jump onto that bandwagon. That didn't warm me to them at all. And quite frankly, the fact that they're not putting all that, they did the whole thing that they're putting the cosmetic stuff into Anthem, which is great. They're not putting all the microtransaction loot box crap that they do with almost all their other games in there. Now, that's cool and all, but you're still pulling off bullshit like. So yeah, that soured me on the whole thing. I'm not going to give it the rating at all because I don't do that kind of stuff. All I will say is that it met my expectations until a certain point, which basically took a substantial percentage off of it, leaning to the negative. That's all I'm going to say about that. So that's it. That's my thoughts on the EA E3 conference. So do you agree with my thoughts? What do you think of that? What do you think of the whole the Battlefield V5, whatever it's called, and stuff that actually showcased here? What do you think of the EA originals? Do you like Unravel 2 and the direction they're taking that? What about A Sea of Solitude and what they're doing with that? Does that look really interesting to you? What do you think of all the sports stuff? Do you give a monkeys about it or not? What sort of developments there are you excited about, if any? What do you think of the whole Conquer Rivals stuff and the way they presented it? Is it might be something you actually want to play on mobile, on your mobile device? And of course, what do you think about Anthem? What's your favourite Javelin? If it's not Storm, you're wrong. No, I'm joking. It will look cool because just Storm looks awesome. Interceptor does as well. That's just me. That's just my thoughts about that. Put your thoughts about that in the comments. I have to admit, well, I'll talk more about that in another video about the whole E3 thing. So we'll see what developments. I'm sure when you can see more E3 conferences, and I'll probably post a video about it. Until then, thanks for watching, and keep on playing, folks.